Just let me know that you want to do it.
That's for the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be late.
I will be late also.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Sue will be all by herself.
Susan will be here. Susan and
Oh, well then I'll send a notification.
I'm
That's for the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be late.
I will be late also.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Sue will be all by herself.
Susan will be here. Susan and
Oh, well then I'll send a notification. That's for the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be late. Sue will be all by herself.
Susan will be here. Susan and
Oh, well then I'll send a notification. That's for the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be late.
All right, CNET, I need my walking music. Dun, 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 dun.
Well then I'll send a notification. That's for the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be late.
All right, CNET, I need my walking music. Dun, 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 dun.
Well then I'll send a notification. That's for the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be late.
All right, CNET, I need my walking music. Dun, 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 dun.
Well then I'll send a notification.
Okay,
she's not on.
we good?
Her thing is muted.
All right. Budget cuts. No, just kidding. If we could, I call this meeting, Patton Township Board of Supervisors meeting on December 10th, 2025 to order at 5:35. If we could all stand. All right. Saying Pledge of Allegiance. Budget cuts. No, just kidding. If we could, I call this meeting, Patton Township Board of Supervisors meeting on December 10th, 2025 to order at 5:35. If we could all stand. All right. Saying Pledge of Allegiance. Budget cuts. No, just kidding. If we could, I call this meeting, Patton Township Board of Supervisors meeting on December 10th, 2025 to order at 5:35. If we could all stand. All right.
We're good?
All right. Welcome, everyone, both here and abroad on Zoom land. Happy to have you all here. We will first move through any announcements, any additions to the posted agenda. Seeing none. Moving to public comments. Any residents, taxpayers who would like to address the matter before the board, now is your time to do so. Obviously, we ask that if it's something related to anything on the agenda, that we ask that you wait until that time. And so are there any public comments? I know we have some recognitions, but we'll wait for the next. Seeing none. All right, moving on. A very special part of our meeting, sad part of our meeting, sobering part of our meeting, inspirational part of our meeting. We want to recognize our supervisor, Elliot Abrams, who plans to retire at the end of this year after 43 years of service to the residents of Patton Township. And so we have been able to be blessed with one of our representatives to come here and staff to honor and recognize Elliot for his service, and we have some other things to provide too, so we'll just take this time to do so. And Elliot, you're probably uncomfortable at this time, but just let it happen, okay? All right, so if we could.
Monument of the need for term limits.
Yes. So if we could have Representative Conklin. And staff.
Thank you. I want to thank the Patton Township Supervisors. I'm going to go off script a lot, but for what you all do in the townships is what makes this community exactly what it is. I want to thank you all. And I want to thank your Esquire, Betsy, thank you for being here. A lot of times we get citations, and you may have heard of the person or you may know the person, but tonight's somebody that I truly admire. And let me tell you how long it's been. There was no I-99. 322 went through the middle of town. I used to listen to the radio long before I ever thought about getting into radio. Getting into politics, I listened to morning radio because I work construction. And the highlight on Wendy and Kevin was the big book of weather. I don't know if anybody but Elliot remembers those days. He would come on the radio and he would give the forecast, but it was always just absolutely wonderful rendition the way you did it. It was always witty. It was always gave you something to look forward to in the morning. It was just really something special. So I should admit this. Normally, whether you're in business or in politics, there's two times in your life you really remember something. One is when you knock on somebody's door and you've been elected for 27 years and they tell you they never heard of you. And do you have a resume that they could show you before they'll sign their petition, which happens to me periodically. Or the second one is that you're going door to door trying to get elected, and you look down on your little walk list and you see this name, and it's Elliot Abrams. And I know you're going to find this corny. I idolized you. It was like, this is the coolest guy in the world. And you want to knock on the door. You all have done it. You want to just get on your way. This is one of the few times in my life I'm thinking, I hope he's home. And you were. I don't know if you wouldn't even remember me being there. I knocked on your door. It was the house, we were talking about earlier, up in the development, and you were there. And I went home, and my wife always asked me, how did your day go? And I told her, I said, I met Elliot Abrams today. But
That plus $10 could get you a cup of coffee.
I can't afford that Starbucks. Wonderful place. I can't afford this coffee. With that, I'm not going to go over it because I'm not going to read every line, because one of the problems with someone who's successful as Mr. Abrams is that I would even be here longer, slowing your meeting down even further. But with that, from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the House of Representatives, whereas the state of Pennsylvania always looks forward to congratulating our special citizens. And whereas Elliot Abrams is being honored upon his retirement, and it goes on, and this is signed by State Representative Paul Takak, myself, the Speaker of the House, John McClinton, and the Wheeler. Could you please come up and I'll present this to you, and that way you all can get on with the real business at hand. And when you get our age, you wish they went back to analog rather than digital. We look better.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks, y'all. All right. So moving on, we have another citation that I will actually read. It's from our Representative Thompson, Glenn Thompson, and I will go ahead and read that. So Mr. Thompson of Pennsylvania, Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Elliot Abrams for 42 years of dedicated service to the residents of Patton Township, Pennsylvania. Elliot was first elected Township Supervisor in 1980 after service on both the Patton Township Sign and Review Board and the Planning Commission. Elliott has a long history of service to Patton Township and the entire Center region. For more than 50 years, Elliott delivered the weather report as chief forecaster and senior vice president of AccuWeather. He was first hired at AccuWeather in 1967. In 1971, Elliott graduated from Penn State University with both a bachelor's degree and master's degree in meteorology. Elliott holds the title Certified Consulting Meteorologist and the AMS seals of approval for both radio and television from American Meteorological Society. He is one of only a few living individuals to earn this distinction. Mr. Speaker, Elliott has dedicated his life and service to Center Region, both on and off air, and he will formally retire from Patton Township Board of Supervisors at the end of this year. I wish him the best. And that's our Representative Glenn G.T. Thompson. So, yeah, let's take a picture, I guess.
Another picture.
Let's have the whole board.
Get the whole board.
Put this back.
All right. So we'll continue. I want to open it up to the board if they have any thoughts. We will be honoring Elliott at a later date as well for our staff appreciation dinner, and so we'll have more things to do there. But anything anyone wanted to say before I opened up the floor to Elliott, if he had any words?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want to go first? Since you're
I
alone?
would be honored to go first.
Microphone.
So, I should have prepared a joke, but, I can't compete with Elliott, so I won't even try. But I wanted to say, one, thank you for your guidance before I got on the board. I know I reached out a couple of times, and you basically said, you can do it, there's not anything to it. And I've found that very comforting. But I will take away from all of my hours on the board with you the Patton Crossing challenge, which actually I thought really benefited us in the long term because we really had active citizen input, productive. And it was in no small part to Elliott and his idea of establishing a citizen advisory board, which comprised several of the citizens. And believe me, those meetings we had a packed audience, and we had many more chairs than that. Some of the meetings went quite late. But that citizen advisory board was really brilliant because it allowed everyone to have a seat at the table and a voice at the table. And even though the votes weren't exactly equal, there was staff, there was citizens, and then there were the developers. It affirmed the citizens' participation in the process of governing, essentially. And that was kind of my introduction to government. It really could not have been better. And in addition to that, Elliott ran a very encompassing, enclosing, inclusive meeting. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. So I really thank you for that modeling example.
I must admit that particular committee was the idea of Patricia Best, who is in charge of the schools in the late 90s, when citizens came in and complained that the school district was wasting money, and she got a committee together. Some people agreed with it, some people thought it was nonsense, and some didn't know. And when they were finished, the people that were most upset weren't upset anymore.
And I think that's what happened with Patton Crossing. And we got a great supervisor out of it, Anita Tees. So,
I guess I'm next. Elliot, it's been an honor to be on the Patton Township Board with you. You were the first chair to appoint me, along with the board of Betsy Whitman, Dan Trevino, and Jessica Buckman, and I thank you guys for that. Ellie, you have been a mentor, a colleague, and a great friend for years. This is bittersweet because I know how much you love being a supervisor. But your service to this community for 43 years is a testament to your dedication and unwavering commitment to the Patton Township community. Elliot, you leave a great legacy for us to follow for 43 years. We just can't beat. We're going to miss your puns and your zingers, although you have passed it on to our chair, Sutan Magruder, who is now following in your footsteps. Everyone, especially the officials and the staff, needed a smile, and you provided that at every meeting. So, without further ado, our board has a little something for you. But before you go off, you may not be the only one with jokes. One of the jokes we've got is, why did the banker quit his job? Elliot, he lost interest. The other one is, why did the can crusher quit his job?
Why?
Because it was so depressing. But the last joke is, what's in a can of Patton Township Pringles?
What could it be?
A great big thank you to Elliot and 43 singles.
Is that a joke?
I don't think so.
43 singles. The board thanks you, and we know how much you love trains. So, you now have a train of your own.
Look at that.
And there's a little something that says, there isn't enough thank yous, big enough, for everything you have done. So that is to you as well. And our board thanks you immensely.
And thank you excessively. And Pam is the exact person we needed a few years ago when there was the cave-in and temporary flooding of the people in houses in parts of Park Forest. And several of us just, oh, what are we going to do? She didn't wait to see what we were going to do. She went and did it. And she kept on doing it until we got a grant to help those people. And that's one of the great things that Pam is.
Thank you. So, without further ado, turn it back to the chair, and I'll put this aside.
Turn it back to the chair. I'll have some more extensive, well, I won't be the chair for the appreciation dinner. I was planning on having more extensive comments.
Say what
But yeah, I will quickly, echo a lot of the sentiments that have been shared by members of this board, Elliot, and I will, say that I remember, starting my tenure in this role and sitting, I think I was always on that end, and you sitting next to me and, before meetings and during meetings and after meetings, whispering things into my ear, distracting me from things when I'm over here trying to be, attentive and do the right thing. I think that was helpful to allow me to sort of acclimate and adjust to just this space. I think you setting a sort of tone of we're just humans and we're here to connect and we have each other's back. And so I appreciate you sort of laying that groundwork, for me as I started. As a person who struggles with memory and recall, despite, my ability, for humor, I think I had a lot of admiration, I think just for the way that your mind works, and appreciation that you use it for good. And I think that's especially true considering just everything that, again, we've been just seeing over the last few years where, bright minds are not always using it in a way that sort of advances, society and supports, people. And so I just appreciate the person, that you are, the institutional knowledge that you have and your willingness to, share that, your ability to, cut through the heart of issues. I remember a few times up here we're going back and forth on different issues and probably beating, not going to say that phrase, but, and you kind of just chime in with, at the end of the day, this is what I see, and this is what basically we need to do. And I think that's was always a sort of sobering, refreshing thing to sort of have. And then last, your, commitment to people and your commitment to service. And again, I remember many times where, residents are coming in, there's different issues, and whether that be zoning things or removing playgrounds that people, made in their sort of backyards. When we're talking about the technical sort of things, you're coming in with at the end of the day, we need to listen to people and we need to, hear their stories, and we need to get information to them and work collaboratively toward a sort of solution. And so, yeah, I think with just all those things, you're just a person I really admire and has made this a space for me to be able to feel like I can, be me and sort of thrive. And so you're definitely going to be missed.
They're all too kind. I'm talking about memories. It was around this time in 1960 when, as a meteorologist, not quite yet, there was a huge snowstorm in Philadelphia, 15 inches of snow on December 11th and 12th of 1960. And first of all, I'll guarantee that we will not get a repeat of that here tonight. But right after that, I was late for school the next day, and my homeroom advisor liked him just fine, but it was the first time I'd ever met him. And turned out his name was Art McNally. And he turned out to be the leading referee for the NFL years later, passed away a few years ago, but he was just a great advisor at that time, and you never know who you're going to run into and meet at any given time. But you're all wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Elliot. Thank you to the rest of the board. And truthfully, so when I finished talking, and then Elliot's like, "You're all too kind," and then he said, basically, I remember. And I thought, oh, wow, he's about to tell a story about me. And then he said, back in 1960. And I was like, this story is not about me. So, all right. Again, more to come with acknowledgments for you, Elliot. If we could, CNET, quickly. I'm going to turn it over to our supervisor, Rob.
holiday grows near, our CNET crew has been outstanding, and we just want to say thank you. This board continues to say thank you and how much we appreciate you. So, without further ado, I have the honor, and along with my colleagues, Abigail, you want to come on down? Abigail continues to be a rock for CNET and keeping things moving and keeping things going, and we want to thank you. What's your name?
Thank you so much.
Evan, come on down. They are unconditional, whether rain, sleet, snow, they are here, and we say thank you. And I am going to butcher your name, Alicia?
That's Alyssa.
Okay. Come on down. We, as a board, appreciate everything that you guys do to make us look good. So enjoy the holiday. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know if this is like an in-kind contribution, but I hope I get my walking music now after these gifts. You don't have to, we're just, no strings attached. All right. Moving on. Resolution 2025-17, adopting the proposed 2026 township budget. I'll turn this over to Amy.
I'm going to turn it over to Larry, our Assistant Manager for Finance and Administration.
Okay, as you know, we have presented the budget and tentatively adopted the budget. So tonight, we're going to have the public hearing and the final adoption of the budget. I just want to do a quick presentation to remind everybody what's in the budget. So, maybe. Okay, so on the 5th of November, we did the presentation of the budget. On the 12th of November, we tentatively adopted the budget. It has been advertised, and it has been available for public view. So tonight, we will have the public hearing and the final adoption of the budget and the CIP. So this budget has a 1.2 mil increase. It has 11.5 mils for real estate and our 6 mils for open space preservation, which was approved by the referendum back in 2013, I believe. It has a 0.5% for earned income tax, $52 for local services tax, and a 0.5% for real estate transfer tax, and those last three are at the maximum rate permitted by law. The millage allocation is we have 7.8 mils in the general fund. We have 1.2 mils in debt. We have 0.6 mils for open space preservation, 0.8 mils for the library, 0.7 mils for the parks capital improvements, and 1 mil for fire. The revenue budget is $14,755,337. That consists of $6,372,000 for real estate taxes, $351,000 for the tax on the open space preservation, $2,948,000 in earned income tax, $984,000 in other taxes, $3,286,000 in intergovernmental payments, and $814,000 in non-tax sources. Our expenditure budget is $15,556,173. That is broken down into $78,000 in general government services, $4,577,000 in police services, $4,376,000 in public works, $1,918,000 in planning and zoning and parks and recreation, $1,574,000 in other community services, $787,000 in debt service, and $245,000 in open space debt service. Just to give you a picture of your tax dollar at work, 28,000 goes to general government, or 28 cents goes to general government, sorry. 29 cents goes to police. I beg my pardon, I'm sorry. 13 cents goes to general government, 29 cents goes to police, 28 cents goes to public service, 12 cents goes to planning, parks, and 10 cents goes to other community services, and 7 cents goes to debt service. The budget includes 3.1% cost of living adjustment for the non-uniform employees. It was 3.2% last year, 4.3% in 2024, and 6.3% in 2023. It has a 1.25% merit increase for all the non-uniform employees on their anniversary dates. The police contract called for a 4% increase in 2026. It was 4% in 2025, 5% in 2024, and 6% in 2023, which means that we will be negotiating a contract in 2026 for the new contract. There's a 6% increase in the health insurance costs, and of those costs, the employees, the non-uniform employees contribute 12% of the total cost, and the uniform employees contribute 9% of the total cost. The wages and benefits have the 3.1% increase plus hires that we made during 2025 will increase total wage and benefits $411,485. The Center Region Council of Governments, because they're using some of their one-time funds over at COG, is only going to increase $81,003. So the budget summary is the revenues are $14,755,000, expenditures are $15,556,000. There will be a decrease of fund balance of $800,836. The year-end cash balance will be $736,724, which equals 4.74 of our operating expenses. And that's the end of my presentation. If anybody has any questions, I will answer.
Yeah, Supervisor Abrams.
Just as a point of reference, we talk about how much everything costs. And in the early 1800s, when the iron industry was just getting started around here, you could buy an acre of land for $600.
It's slightly more expensive today.
Dude, I would have so much land.
I was just a kid then.
You could buy the whole township.
I'm like trying to check myself before I say something. Okay, I won't say it. That is true. All right. Well, if there's nothing else right now, I will take a motion. I can just open it, right? I have to take a motion to close it. All right. I'm going to open public comment.
Public hearing.
Huh?
You're going to open the
Public hearing.
Are there any members of the public that want to comment on the budget? We did, and you did have the comment, the one comment that I received, and then there was another gentleman that called, and both of them were very kind and had very good interaction about the budget.
Appreciate you taking care of that, Amy. All right, well, there's nothing else.
Then you take the motion.
All right. All right, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing. Second. All right. All right, we're good. It's technical things, I keep forgetting. All right, so we should, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution 2025-17 adopting the 2026 township budget.
Second. Or motion, make the motion.
Can you second?
For some reason, I'm not hearing down there.
Okay. We have a motion that's been seconded by Supervisor Whitman. Any further comment? Questions? All right, all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. You say anything, Supervisor Whitman?
No, I didn't.
All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right. Moving on, Resolution 2025-18, adopting the 2026-2030 Capital Improvement Plan.
So the board reviewed the 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan on October 22nd, and a revised capital improvement plan on November 12th. So now the plan is ready for adoption, so you can take action to approve this resolution. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, I will entertain a motion first.
So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Abrams. Questions? Oh, okay. There's been a motion, as stated in the agenda, that's been seconded. Any further discussion, comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, moving on, Resolution 2025-19, adopting the 2026 COG budget.
So the general forum approved the 2026 COG budget at their meeting on October 30th, and they've referred it to the municipalities for adoption.
I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Resolution 2025-20, setting the property tax rates.
And just as a reminder, we will raise our general real estate millage 1.2 mils in 2026.
All right, if we are comfortable with this, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2025-20, setting the real estate tax rates for 2026.
So moved.
All right, any questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, public safety, Chief.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. November was a little bit of a quieter month for the police department, but in the report here, you'll see we did 131 traffic stops. We wrote 28 citations, 2 parking tickets, handled 27 criminal arrests, and our bike patrol rode 16 miles, did 15 business checks, and handled 2 incidents. Under department notes, first arrest was a 28-year-old male. He was arrested for theft. He was working overnight security when he removed $3,000 worth of merchandise from the township store that he was working at. A 51-year-old male was arrested for theft by deception. That male made 2 fraudulent returns to himself, totaling around $300 while working at a township store. And then a 38-year-old and a 34-year-old male were cited for trespassing. Both those individuals were hunting on property without permission from the landowner, and the property was properly posted with no trespassing signs. We had 9 arrests for retail theft and 3 for driving under the influence. We served 10 of the 14 warrants that we attempted, and we conducted 3 vacation home checks. We did use force during 2 incidents in the month of November. The first was a retail theft incident at a township store. A female suspect was uncooperative with the responding officer and refused to hand over her purse. The officer pulled the purse from the female's hands and handcuffed her behind her back. A search of the purse revealed $173 worth of stolen merchandise. There were no injuries reported, and she was processed for the retail theft arrest. In the second incident, we were dispatched to assist Ferguson Township officers with a trespassing incident. There was an intoxicated male refusing to leave a residence where he did not belong. The male resisted when officers attempted to take him into custody. Once the officers took the male to the ground, he continued to kick and resist of the arrest. So they were able to gain control of the male and handcuff him. Due to his level of intoxication, they summoned the EMS to the scene to evaluate him, and he was transported to the hospital for further treatment. There was no injuries reported in that, and Ferguson Township officers are handling the criminal charges. Community Relations, Officer Sunderland conducted a car seat check for a township resident, and Officer Tuskovich spoke with the 6th grade classes at Park Forest Middle School about the dangers of social media usage and some things to be aware of. Training and department activities, our officers attended tactical response team training. Officer Warhowski attended training on tactical room entry and room clearing. Officer Snyder and Graff completed their 2 required days of training. Graff was also deployed at the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center and also the Hollidaysburg Junior High School. As part of his training, they went into the schools and did some detection work. Officer Snyder reported they did not have any indications of any narcotics in either of those settings. And then Graff also conducted 2 sniffs on vehicles. I assisted with interviews for the Bellefonte Police Department for hiring an officer. And then I also attended, it was really well put together, an active attacker exercise, which was hosted by Penn State Police Department, which included stakeholders from all Center County first responder agencies, and from the law enforcement side, including our federal and state partners. So it was a really well put together incident. Got everybody to the table, started thinking about if we have a major event like this, how we're going to navigate that, what resources we can provide, and how we can help each other out. So really, really good event. Just a real quick note from an individual thanking Officer Tuskovich for attending a function at one of our local churches. And then lastly, we have a record list of calls for service, 434 for the month of November, down from the 529 we handled in October. 84 of those were school checks and 40 were traffic related. That completes my report.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions? Supervisor Robb.
Chief, are you collecting toys for tots or anything like that?
So the township has a collection site. The police officers specifically are doing 2 events. You're stealing my thunder for next month when I do my report.
Sorry.
For December.
On top.
It's okay, because it's good to bring it up. So the officers, again, did the No Shave November. So for that, we are partnered up with the Salvation Army and helping 2 families with 5 children in Patton Township. And then on Monday, Officer Tuskich, Officer Barzell, Officer Snyder and Graff, and myself, we're at Target with the Youth Service Bureau. And Target graciously gave 15 individuals who were in their assisted living, their apartment for the children, $100 to shop. So it was fantastic. So yeah, so we did those 2 events. That one's titled Holidays and Helpers, and the other one is kind of a shop, our spin on a shop. So yep.
Thank you.
Anything else? So we had a security guard who secured some things. Okay.
One of those items had a tracker on it, so let us read to it.
Wrong line of work, buddy. Wrong line of work.
I don't think he's probably employed there anymore, so.
Hopefully not anywhere. I should stop. All right. Moving on. Public Works. Nothing there. Planning, zoning.
So as Ellen Foreman makes her way up to the podium to give the Planning Commission report, I'd like to make mention that this is the last meeting that we will have, and Jenna is online, Jenna Wargo as our local land use planner. CRPA is going to cease the local land use planning program in January. We are moving to Strategic Solutions, which is a firm out of Pittsburgh. They will be helping the COG. And interestingly, they actually just hired former Patton Township planner Greg Garth, who was the planner here from 2014 to 2016 part-time. So we had a meeting on a development project this week, and he was on the call. And the staff is just delighted that Greg has been hired by the firm and that he'll be working with us on the next phase of local planning. But I do want to take a moment just to thank Jenna. She's been phenomenal since she's been with us. She's been with us about a year and a half. We're very fortunate. I said this at the Planning Commission meeting. She's going to be big shoes to fill. She's going to be hard to replace at the local side, but we are going to keep her on as we finish the attainable housing ordinance, and also she'll be helping us through the rest of the Park Forest Middle School plan and the conditional use hearing. So I wanted to make sure I recognized Jenna before we got into the Planning Commission business this evening.
I was going to mention, too, that the whole Planning Commission was grateful for the work that Jenna's done. She's helped educate us. She's conducted trainings for us, and so we've been very appreciative of her work. As far as the most recent commission meeting, we did have for consideration, a plan special, for Act 537 plan special study for Meeks Pump Station. Basically, the new development can't move forward unless there is a new pump station. So there were multiple options considered. I will say that we had there were a lot of questions about the pump station, and there wasn't anybody from UAJA there, even though they were encouraged to attend by the staff. So we felt like, there wasn't any action required on our part, but we did feel uninformed. I will say that by the end of that meeting. So, like you said, there was really no comments to say because we don't feel like we really understand it totally. But understanding that, they did choose an option and it looked like the best option, and that's all we can say. And so there's no action required on.
No, the board will actually talk about that next, and we do have a representative tonight from UAJA here.
Oh, well, that's good. Glad you're here. Okay, well, hopefully you'll come to a planning commission meeting and help us understand. That would be great. Okay, and then the next thing was the Grays Woods Park and Grays Woods Preserve lot line adjustment. And on that, we really, went through a discussion of that and, basically had no comments or issues with it and approved it. And if you're not approved it, recommended for approval. If you're comfortable with it, we're good with moving forward. And that was it for the whole meeting, yeah.
Short meeting.
Thanks so much.
Ellen.
Jenna, I didn't know did Jenna want to say anything?
Jenna is online. Jenna, would you like to say anything?
Hi, thank you. No, it's been a pleasure helping. I am still around as your regional planner. And I'll still be helping.
Jenna.
Oh, sure. Will still be around as your regional planner. So if you need anything, we'll still be doing our trainings next year for all the planning commissions. I apologize for my dog. Your attainable housing ordinance that we will be completing next year, as well as the Park Forest Middle School land development plan. So I'll still be around, limited capacity, but still at the regional level. So if you need anything, please don't hesitate to stop by.
Thanks, Jenna.
Awesome.
All right. Moving forward, if there's nothing else. All right. Grays Woods Park and Grays Wood.
537, special study.
All right. Act 537 plan, special study for the Meeks Lane Pump Station.
So we have Ben Burns here from HRG representing UAJA, who's going to do a brief presentation on what this actually is.
Just let me know when you want me to.
Sure.
Let me know when you want me to roll through the slides.
Okay, thank you. go to the next one, please. So a little bit of a background about what the Act 537 plan process is. It is sewage facilities planning, and it was originally enacted to try to control sewage growth in terms of making sure that on-lot systems that were just for a residential single property were not failing. It was a way to aggregate those failing systems into public systems. And then it became this ongoing process of continuing to look at capacity in existing publicly owned systems and trying to make sure that as things change, as communities grow, the infrastructure is in place to handle that growth and to manage capacity, manage treatment performance as everything advances. So over the years, there's been a lot of Act 537 planning that's gone on in the center region. The last comprehensive plan, which is kind of your official plan for the center region, was adopted in 2006. So it's quite a while ago. Since then, any updates that have been required have been handled through this special study process. And you can see on this, it's very small, I apologize, but in 2016 till now, there's been a lot of special studies done. And this Meeks Lane is another one of those special studies. So rather than looking at the entire region, the entire sewer service area collectively, the special study looks at kind of a focused area. So that's what this is. It's just an amendment or an update to the official plan that encompasses kind of a centralized or a regionalized area rather than the whole sewer service area. So specifically, this study looks at the West Patton portion of UAJA's collection system. And that region was looked at specifically because of the topography. There's a series of pump stations that convey sewage, in some instances, from one pump station to another pump station to another pump station, ultimately into a gravity line, Valley Vista here, that then flows towards the plant. So UAJ has had a long approach of trying to eliminate pump stations. One, they require maintenance. They're more expensive, and they use energy compared to gravity. So if there's a scenario that allows movement in a direction of a gravity conveyance system, UAJ has taken that approach. There was a Valley Vista pump station just out here on the intersection that they eliminated maybe 10, 12 years ago now in order to go to a gravity conveyance mechanism. So if you look at the series of pump stations that are in West Patton, there's even some more as development continues that are planned. So UAJ came up with this thought several years ago. I think actually in 2014 we started conceptualizing this, is that if we put a pump station in a strategic location out in this region, we can start to eliminate some of these pump stations, and that'll reduce electricity use, reduce manpower for maintenance and operation, but it'll also alleviate some concerns about reliability of the stations. Because if you can have one station and it's receiving pumped flow from multiple other stations, if those stations start to operate simultaneously, you can get in a situation where the lead station kind of gets overwhelmed. So it helps with this whole planning approach too, because now we can rely more on less pump stations than trying to rely on many pump stations operating together. So this is the background of the Meeks Lane special study. We did conceptualize this in 2014. We did some preliminary analysis just to see if a pump station could be located in this region and operate efficiently. what the benefits would be for eliminating other pump stations. And then we went through the Act 537 Task Activity Report process back in 2019. And that's really just to say, hey, DEP, we intend to look at this. Do you approve? And they did. And then we drafted the special study in 2021. It met with some opposition. So we redrafted it a few more times, also met with opposition. And now here we are today with kind of a modified plan, and we'll talk through some of those different approaches. So the first alternative that was kind of considered was this approach that we would locate a Meeks Lane pump station down the hill on Meeks Lane, kind of moving away from the sewer service area, if you will. Now, there was no expectations that this would expand the sewer service area boundary, but it would locate a pump station outside of that area that would be beneficial in capturing all of the flow by gravity. So it's the lowest point, right? This is down in the dip by Mr. Glantz, I think is his name, Mr. Glantz's house, or his farm. The force main then would then travel all the way up essentially to Valley Vista. So what we would be doing is bypassing a couple of pump stations, and we would be taking a couple of pump stations offline in exchange for putting this one singular pump station in. So this was kind of the most favorable approach from elimination of pump stations. This kind of got rid of them all except for one. But like I said, it seemed to be met with some opposition. There was some, difficulties in right-of-way acquisition, and since the pump station was outside of the sewer service area, I think maybe there was some concern there. So, next slide, please. Then we looked at another option, and that's what these Act 537 plans are, is really just a consideration of alternatives to figure out which one fits the needs best for the community. So we looked at another option that would have located a pump station down near Cedar Cliff. It would have kind of pumped up over the backside into Toff Trees area. And it was similarly met with some opposition. So the next alternative was Blueberry Crossing. With right-of-way acquisition concerns, we looked at the option of putting a pump station kind of down in the corner of the Blueberry Crossing development. And again, like all of these different scenarios utilize that same force main that would discharge up here near Valley Vista. That brings us to today. So all of those other options were presented, they were considered, but none of them were really determined to be all that favorable, although they offered the best approach to eliminate the total number of pump stations. Along came the developers of the reserve. And the reserve is located just on the, I guess it's the southeast, or south, I'm backwards.
Southwest.
Southwest, thank you, side of Meeks Lane. So UAJ has multiple pump stations in this area already, and through the development of the reserve, what would have happened is the reserve would have had to have put in their own pump station, and then that pump station would have pumped to an existing Marywood pump station, then Marywood would have pumped up over the hill to Gaynor, and Gaynor would have pumped into Valley Vista. So this was the opportunity to say, hey, well, the developer's going to build a pump station to fit their need. Let's make this pump station larger. That'll allow us to eliminate a Marywood pump station. we can eliminate Graysdale 2B and Graysdale 2A pump stations, gravity flow those into the new Meeks Lane pump station, but we'll still have to ultimately pump through the Gaynor pump station. So it's not the greatest opportunity, but it still does allow for the elimination of 3 pump stations. So it kind of gets most of the way to the goal. So we look at all the different costs for those various alternatives, Cedar Cliff, and then the various Meeks Lane alternatives. And the one we're just talking about is Meeks Lane Alternative D. If you could go back, I'm sorry. I wanted to mention something. Go back another slide, please. Okay. So while we would be considering the elimination of the Graysdale pump stations, there are some opportunities to pick up some currently unsewered homes out in that region. A handful of, I think there's maybe 20 or 25. So the plan would be that while we're eliminating these pump stations, building gravity sewer down to this new centralized station, that we would put some additional sanitary sewer in and pick up some systems that are currently served on lot. So that would be encompassed in this overall plan as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll go back to the cost estimate. So you can see that the Meeks Lane Alternative D, which is the most recent alternative, is the lowest capital cost solution. It kind of is misreflected because the annual cost just considers the cost of this pump station, not the collaboration of remaining pump stations. But nonetheless, from a capital perspective, it does offer the most economical approach, and it still allows for the elimination of those 3 other pump stations.
Go ahead.
Yep. So we will have to adjust this schedule, but I wanted to make sure I put the schedule on the presentation that was in the Act 537 plan that was sent out as a draft. But here's where we are at the red line, which is the review by the municipalities. And as we move forward, everything will just kind of get moved down based on when adoption and so forth occurs. But essentially, we're at the stage where municipalities will comment, will address the comments, and then once everything comes back through COG, gets approved, we'll go to submit to DEP. If DEP approves it, then UAJ would move forward with construction.
So what the board's being asked to do tonight is to provide any comments that you might have on the special study, which we'll send back to the COG.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Let's hear it from you first, please.
Ellen, why don't you come up to the microphone, please? Thank you.
The first question I have is about the pump stations that will be eliminated. What happens to that infrastructure? Like, where does it go? Do you remove it, or?
I don't know how important the microphone is, but yeah, so when those pump stations are demolished, they will either get removed entirely or we'll repurpose them into a manhole. So a wet well in the sewer is just a large circular vault in the ground. And sometimes we have to remove it entirely. And other times what we do is just fill it into a certain point and then allow sewage to flow through it. So depending on the final design approach, we'll either take the entire concrete vault out or we'll repurpose it.
And then the other one is, since the the new pump, the D option is in the reserve, and the reserve was going to have to do a pump station anyway. Are they helping to fund the cost of this versus the municipalities funding the whole cost?
Yeah, typically, the developer would be responsible for the infrastructure for their development. So in this particular instance, there would be a agreement in place between UAJA and the developer, where they would determine, the minimum amount the developer would have had to have spent, and then UAJA's cost to increase it. So yes, there would be some subsidy, so to speak, from the developers.
Of that total, something will be taken out.
Yes. Now, I will tell you that that's not very much, because most of that 3 million is line work that isn't the pump station itself.
Most of the 3 million is what, line?
Line work, so gravity, the new gravity lines down, and then the force main.
Yeah, so you just have to lay the lines.
Correct.
Okay, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, yeah, sure. Smart.
Supervisor Whitman.
The objections that were mentioned in the Cedar Cliff project, and then I think one of the other projects, were those by, I'm assuming, residents who lived nearby and did not want to have a pump station?
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Okay. So what I'm seeing is that where the,
Someone's going to have a pump station.
yeah, someone's going to have it, but right now it's going in a place where there are no homeowners currently living, and so nobody there to object.
Yes.
And so the people who move in, move in with the pump station. I've seen pump stations, they're not the worst. I think there's one on Douglas, is it Douglas Drive? I'm not-
Yeah,
Or it's a big, maybe it's a big culvert, that's, whatever.
there is a Douglas Drive pump station, but
Oh, okay, then that's what that is, okay. Anyway, I was just sort of curious, because it seemed to me, that's why there are no objections to this last site.
yeah, and I guess the reason why there's no objections to this final site is because they'd have to put in a pump station there
Anyway.
regardless, because they want to sell lots,
Exactly,
so.
yeah. So, no, and I like the idea of using gravity. Gravity's for free.
Gravity is free.
Interesting.
But you said that's the, and can we look at the plans again? Sorry, the different. And this one we're talking about is like Plan D.
Yes.
Yeah. But you said it's not the most ideal, most cost-effective, no complaints really, because there's nothing there, but.
Yeah, and the reason I say it's not the most ideal is from a technical perspective. The most ideal scenario would be to get rid of all of the pump stations but one. And this option doesn't do that. We still have to maintain
The one
this
in,
new pump station plus another pump station. that's
Graysdale.
already out there.
yeah.
So all that means is that in the future, UAJ is going to have to upgrade that station as well. The original goal of this all was to only ever have to deal with one station.
Any specific alternative you want to look at?
No, wasn't there one listed? Well, I was just looking at the costs.
Oh, the cost.
comparison.
That's actually, and that's in our agenda, too.
Yeah, it's hard to see that.
And I guess cost to like upgrade one, is there an estimate?
I don't know.
I know inflation and stuff too, you may not be able to.
Yeah, I mean, just to upgrade a station, boy, it's 500,000 to 2 million. I mean, it all depends on the size of the station, diameter of the wet well, all kinds of different parameters, so it's kind of difficult to put a number to it. The Gainer Drive pump station then becomes the remaining station that's going to become the bottleneck. Sometime in the future, we'll be back having a similar discussion about now it's time to upgrade the Gainer station. And that could be as simple as putting bigger pumps in, or it could require a larger wet well, some other infrastructure. We don't quite know yet, but.
Okay. Supervisor Rob.
My question is that the plan was referred to our planning commission, right? But there was not a representative at that meeting for them to ask questions?
That was a miscommunication amongst the executive director of UAJA and his staff. They apologized. We sent an email to them after the meeting and said we were frustrated that you weren't there, and they apologized for the miscommunication.
Can we get them to meet with our commission?
The comments are due back on December 23rd, so unfortunately, we cannot.
After this presentation, Ellen, can we get the board to submit some questions before the 23rd that has to be answered by the commission?
I think the questions had to do with the other sites.
They were very technical in nature. People wanted to, because the rest of us, we don't deal in sewer, right? So they had questions about what a pump station was, what the pump station's function was, how it interplayed with with the sewer service area and some other things. And Jenna and myself answered as best as we could, that this is in the sewer service area, we're not expanding the sewer service area. They didn't have any questions about the location of it. It was more the logistics and wanting to know, is this going to expand the sewer service area, the growth boundary, and it doesn't do that. So it wasn't the specifics of where this was going.
I think there was some confusion about which plan. There was confusion
Yep.
about which plan was the right plan. So I think maybe if we do ask, we can ask for any questions and submit them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we met with Corey Miller, the executive director of UAJA, a couple weeks ago, and we told him, okay, these are the meeting dates for this, because we knew that this was controversial in the past, so we met with him at a staff level to figure out what was going on. And we told him the dates and told them when to have people here, and then he's out of town and told someone else on his staff to attend, and that person didn't attend. And then I sent an email and said, and we had sent an email, Jenna had sent an email ahead of the meeting saying, hey, we'd love to have somebody attend the meeting. And then no one came, so we're happy to have Ben here tonight with the presentation. But this presentation would have been really helpful at the Planning Commission level. I can reach back out to Pam Adams at the COG and explain what happened. This was completely on UAJA and not on us, and see if we can ask that this be, but the Planning Commission won't meet again until January 12th. So that would slow up their process, their timeline, but I can certainly ask the question. I don't know what the answer would be.
My concern is that we don't have the feedback from our planning commission. That's crucial. That, even with Ellen here, with great questions. What's to say our other plan commissioners don't have questions that need to be answered before this board makes a decision?
Well, so your comment back to the COG could be, we're not able to offer comments, and we can explain what happened on December 1st, and say we would like to have the month of January for the Planning Commission to review, and then the board to discuss January 28th.
That's up to the chair and
Yeah.
the rest of the board.
Yeah, I get the sentiment. I think if I'm not mistaken, though, like the meat of the feedback that we need to provide, those questions are sort of like answered. It's sort of like laid out before us. Again, these are more technical questions that were being asked that I don't think is necessarily going to drastically impact our decision on sort of like moving forward with a particular plan. So I don't know about like delaying
And
any.
there is additional public comment time built into this special study process. We're a stakeholder, which is why we were given more opportunity to comment. So I would say that if you don't want to delay the process, we can make sure that this gets sent out to the planning commission. Then if they have any comments, we can make sure that they get forwarded through the public comment process as well.
Yeah, I mean, quickly, just looking at that cost comparison, again, we're talking about, Meeks Lane, alternative D, that's the thing that we're thinking about moving forward with. So cost-wise, it's not even a comparison right there, and I know you said that we would still be maintaining another station, but the operating costs annually that we would accrue, plus y'all coming back in a few years talking about upgrades, even if it is $2 million or something like that, it still seems more cost-effective to sort of like maintain that at this particular juncture. So for me, this makes sense.
And the upgrades he's saying would have to happen anyway. They're in the future, and no matter what we did. And this at least eliminates the 3 pump stations. Eliminates not just the operating cost, but the likelihood of some mishap occurring, which is more likely than with gravity, which would just be basic leak. So, yeah. And I did also want to correct or draw your attention to the fact that in I guess it was the summary overview, whatever it was called, that there was some mention that it could not go through the Hall property because of the exceptional preservation nature of it. And it's actually technically is that the deed that we received, there's a deed restriction on that. So
Right.
So it is because of the exceptional value, but I didn't know if you wanted to mention that in future. Because it's off limits forever. But you probably know that.
Yeah, and that's early on, we had eliminated
I remember
that
that.
as
Yep.
a consideration.
And that would have been, that was a nice plan otherwise. I remember it was, a straight line, more or less. The shortest distance between 2 points, yeah. No, it doesn't bother me from what I've heard, but out of respect to the Planning Commission, and also maybe an education for the Planning Commission, they can continue their learning process.
Supervisor Abrams.
If I could summarize this a little bit,
Here it comes.
Morgan Wallen has a song out right now called Jack and Jill Went Downhill. It's about a 3 or 4 minute song. It's tragic. But we're talking about something that's going downhill too. And this means that there will be no country song about this particular issue because it takes much too long to explain. So that's the good news. The bad news is, what are we going to do? And the good news could be with an extra month, next month, to talk about it, we might come to a better solution.
So do you want me to send comments back saying you would like this to go back through our planning commission, or what's your intent? What's your feeling?
You don't want to have all these questions not answered.
It-
Tell everybody, oh, we're just going to do it.
So I guess there's going to be more opportunity for input.
Yes, and I think on their side, their questions were a lot of technical stuff
Yeah.
that we actually could have Jenna or somebody from UAJA come in and do a session for the planning commission so they understand, which that should be done anyway, so they understand sewage planning and sewage facilities.
I would say it was more educational even than technical, just wanting to understand the whole process. And we all have been through this because it's been presented to us several times, the pump stations and the theory and the mechanisms behind it, so.
Does that seem fair, like even the questions that would be, the answers that would be gleaned from a follow-up meeting probably wouldn't fundamentally change this particular plan?
Doesn't sound like it, but I do think that questions about the site, there were just some questions about the site, and I think if those could be addressed through the public comment process. But I would just say, give the planning commission the opportunity to ask those questions, however you wanted to go about it.
So what would the board like to do?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to probably move forward anyway, even if we said, hey, we through no fault of our own, didn't get these questions asked, so we don't really have feedback at this time. They're still going to be moving forward. So we want to provide some input. And I think based on what we talked about today, it would be helpful to just provide that input. And out of respect for our planning commission, yes, scheduling a follow-up just to get some of those other questions answered so that as this plays out moving forward, y'all can bring this back to us, and then we'll be able to provide some input for, that public comment.
So we're not providing any comments back. We'd like this to go back to our planning commission in January.
Sorry, no. We're providing comments now. Yes,
Okay.
we'll provide comments, and then just on the side,
Okay.
we'll have our planning commission get their questions answered, and then later on down the road, we'll take that feedback from planning commission to inform.
Okay, so what comments do you have on this?
It seemed like we like Plan D,
Yeah.
and financially, it seems like it makes sense, even though we're still maintaining an additional pump. And even with the projected cost out in the future for upgrading the pump, this just still seems more financially.
Yeah, and mechanically it seems better because we're eliminating 3 pumps. And so any repairs down the line would be on fewer number of pumps. So repairs down the line are, their upkeep, they'll come anyway, but it'll be on essentially 2 pumps instead of 5 pumps. That's what I'm thinking. So there's the Valley Vista pump and then the Grace, or whatever,
Yes.
maybe 3 pumps instead of
Eliminating 3,
eliminating 3 and
being 1.
there's 3 remaining.
And we'll be able to have others tap into who are currently off the
Yes.
system, about 20
Inside the sewer service area.
inside the sewer service area, and y'all get those individually. You said you go to there. Okay.
So the Grays Woods, I'm sorry, Geisinger Grays Woods is within the sewer service area?
It is.
2005, the Act 537 plan was amended. Ellie, you probably remember this, this was a big fight at the COG, was amended, and Patton Township Board of Supervisors had rezoned the Geisinger property for a medical facility, and we have the DRI process because the other elected officials at the general forum felt that Patton Township had forced the hand of everybody else to force sewer to be given, and it was a big fight.
Right.
That's a little bit of ancient history.
What am I hearing? I mean, I'm not going to be here to talk about it, but I think the reason we have a planning commission is so they can do the research and advise the supervisors in the best possible manner. And if you don't have all the people present, the answers, like you've heard, we should at least allow them to have another meeting before we issue final comments. I mean, how many years has this been going on now?
Well, they will get their
They'll get
comments.
say. Yep.
Yeah.
It's not like this issue just came up.
Yeah, I guess, again, if I'm not mistaken, even if we kicked it back to the planning commission, we're going to be cut out of this process, this initial process for moving this forward. Like, it's still going to be moving forward. And so, yes, then we can come back later, be informed by the planning commission, then provide comments later on. But what I'm saying is, like, to be involved in this process now, we have comments, and it seems like it's safe to, like, provide that this particular plan seems reasonable, and so that we can at least have a voice in this initial stage. And then, once we get feedback from the planning commission later on, we can add to the initial comments that we're providing now.
Okay.
Does that seem fair to you? I don't mean to sound like we're cutting them out, but we have comments, and the planning commission will also have comments. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, board? All right,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm trying to, like, visualize what these, like, the sewer, like, system, is it like, and it's gravity.
Downhill.
Yeah, I think it's going downhill.
So it
Like,
doesn't
is
have
the
to be-
grade, like, really high?
doesn't have to be very steep to be
It's
down.
like- So it's just sludge, just,
Doesn't have,
Ryan says 2%.
Ryan just said 2%.
I go with Ryan. Ryan understands.
so, okay. So it just goes downhill, like highest point, all the way to the system.
So it doesn't run uphill.
Yeah, I know that. Well, you could pump it.
Well, you
Yeah.
pump it, but you don't, it doesn't flow by itself.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty impressed.
Well, how deep can it go?
Bucking grade or not.
So basically, you find your starting point, and then you find your grade, and then you,
Yeah.
interesting.
And you can change the depth of a pump station to increase that percentage grade, if you wanted to, and then you just pump it up. I'm impressed that the Valley Vista is above grade to the to UAJA.
Yeah, I believe it runs back through the dump, like through the.
That's very interesting.
I should say that, you know, the Burroughs site.
The compost site.
The compost site.
Yeah.
It runs back a lot there, to the facility.
So look at the topography, yeah, that's amazing. I feel- yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be YouTubing tonight.
Should go watch that August 2005 General Forum meeting. That was something.
Is that available?
Probably not, but I will say that
Archive.
that was my first COG General Forum meeting, and that was the first night I ever met Betsy Dupuy, because Harris Township pulled their support of a sewer service expansion that she was working on, and she came over and said, "Betsy Dupuy, you'll be hearing from me." And I was like, "Oh, Lord."
Ooh.
The fear of
Ancient
God.
history.
lawyer to say that to you.
Yeah.
You'll be here.
Not my second week on the job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellen.
My wife has that coat. I need to start saying that. You'll be hearing from me.
You'll be here. I say it to her every day.
Yes, he does. Sometimes I have to hit the door.
HR, Grays Woods Park and Grays Woods Preserve lot line adjustment.
Jenna, are you cool if I take this one? Or you want to take it?
That's completely fine. I have a visual if you need it,
Why
so.
don't you pull the visual up and I'll explain. How about that?
All right.
Okay, so Jenna is pulling up the visual. Okay, so as you know, we own Grays Woods Park and Grays Woods Preserve. So the lot line between the two properties is a little wonky, not a technical term, because it was basically the old development layout, and so it still has cut-in for lots and roads and things. So the Open Space Committee has been talking for the better part of a year now about enrolling Grays Woods Preserve into the Pennsylvania Game Commission's 400 Areas program. Under that program, the Game Commission, which manages the Scotia Preserve, which is obviously next to the Grays Woods Preserve, would manage Grays Woods for us on our behalf at no cost to the township using our forestry management plan. To facilitate that happening, we need to square up the line so that the line makes sense. So the Open Space Committee, the Recreation Advisory Committee, and Clearwater Conservancy, because Clearwater holds the conservation easement on the Grays Woods Preserve property, met and looked at the lot lines, and we used Keller Engineering to help us. And we have adjusted the lines, and you can see the picture up there that shows that it's more squared off now. So it results in the park being 39.23 acres and the preserve being 143.96 acres. Both the Recreation Advisory Committee, the Open Space Committee, have signed off on it, as has Clearwater Conservancy. Half Moon Township also had to sign off on the plan because the back of this property is actually in, the back of the preserve is actually in Half Moon Township. So we're looking for the board to approve the lot line adjustment plan subject to the staff comment letter being addressed.
I'd like to make that motion, that we approve the lot line adjustment as suggested.
Any discussion? Supervisor Abrams.
I think you just seconded
You
it.
just seconded it.
Oh. Okay, no other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Temporary use permit request, Walmart storage containers. Of course, Walmart.
Yeah, so Walmart has applied for a temporary use permit for 6 40-foot storage containers to support their upcoming front-end remodel project. which is part of their ongoing efforts to upgrade their facilities and enhance customer care. Storage containers will be on site from January 1st through January 23rd, 2026, and will be located to the left of the facility in the receiving area. Containers are necessary to receive and secure the store fixtures and other materials prior to the start of the project. So in the past, when we've done this, we've put conditions, and they do this every year, if you remember, for their Back to College event, and we put conditions on these permits. And the conditions relate to unreasonable and/or excessive noise being prohibited from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., containers needing to be removed from the site immediately following the end of the project, and then contacting the zoning officer for an inspection, and that the board holds the right to come back in and put additional conditions on if other issues arise. So we would recommend that after you think about this request, you talk about it, that you could move forward with this, doing similar to what you do for their Back to College event with those conditions applied to it.
Supervisor Abrams.
I move approval and using the same rules as we've used in the past.
I second that.
Unreasonable, excessive noise. Okay, so basically, what's in the agenda? Okay.
And I might ask Chief here, because I remember when there was a little bit of an issue before with Walmart, and I think we just sent some patrol cars by to monitor. I think there was noise after the 7 o'clock.
Yeah, they've always been very receptive to
Yeah.
any, yeah, so there's nearly not
Yeah.
many big issues
Okay.
there, so.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor for the presented motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Sorry.
Elliot? Okay. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on, administration. We have some dates.
Yeah, these are your proposed 2026 meeting dates. I would note a couple of things. February 11th, I will actually be gone at our Executive Development Conference in Hershey, so I would propose that we cancel that meeting and just hold your February 25th meeting. And then March 25th, the staff and I will be gone at a conference in Hershey, the Public Labor Law Conference. So we would propose that you just hold your March 11th meeting and cancel the March 25th meeting. If something comes up in between and we need to have a special meeting, we can advertise for that. And then we're proposing that, again, you move your July meeting back a week to the second Wednesday of the month to accommodate some staff vacations that are planned. So if this looks good to you, we'll put this on your agenda for January 5th, and you'll take final action on it. And as a reminder, January 5th is at 4 p.m. We advertised that already. We moved that back to help our friends at CNET who have to cover a night of 1,000 meetings.
A night of 1,000 meetings.
Theatrical production.
One day, there was a gaggle of people.
They're zombies by the end.
Yeah, and they really don't like local government by the end of it.
They drove their, oh my God. They drove their equipment in the mystery machine. CNET.
Okay, I'm done. Does this look good for people and the stated changes, recommendations?
So basically, the dates in bold are the ones you're suggesting that
We cancel, or the July 8th one is just moved.
Perfect, got that down. Okay,
The July 8th one, you said the Tuesday,
So it moves to July 8th instead of the third Wednesday of July.
July 8th. Oh, okay, the change is there. All right, yeah, that's fine, I don't know, sure.
We'll put that on your agenda for the 5th.
whoa.
All right. Consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Managers report.
Okay, I'm going to go rogue. You have my written report, but I have a couple little things to highlight. First of all, today, the Pennsylvania Local Government Commission released their final report on the automated speed enforcement cameras. If you remember, this has been the quest for the last 365 days, but who's counting, of my life. So the report actually included and cited Patton Township's manager throughout and some of the comments and things that I made. And one of the recommendations that is in the report, which I'm very excited about, is that the state should work with PennDOT to identify troublesome corridors and then provide for expansion of the speed enforcement cameras within the troublesome corridors. Atherton Street would be the #1 troublesome corridor in our area, and I had also talked with the commission about some other places around the state as well. So now that the report is done, this will actually move then into the legislature. They will release it to the legislature, and then I reached out to the Municipal League, and I need to talk with them about what the next steps are to try to do some actual lobbying to get some legislation put together. There was also some chat, and there's been a lot of chat over 20 years about it, 25 years about it, but there was some chat about the need to do something about radar. And some of the legislature, I watched the meeting, some of them said it's kind of embarrassing that we would do automated speed enforcement cameras but not allow radar and local use of radar. So maybe that will happen, maybe not, but it's encouraging, and I would like to again say that the Local Government Commission is really a partner to local governments themselves. The gentleman who is the executive director has been nothing but kind, and I've reached out about some other things, and he, commented that he likes to deal with thoughtful local officials. So I think it's a good partnership that we have here in the state, and I'm looking forward to kind of moving that forward. So if you have any questions, I can answer.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. You stuck with that.
Atherton Street is my passion project.
There you go.
Kudos to you, Amy.
Thank you. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, we have established a Good Vibes Committee at the office, and Casey and Summer, 2 of our employees, have planned a slew of holiday-related activities. Today was our Christmas cookie exchange. Friday is our comfy cozy day, so if you come in and want a hot chocolate, we'll have a hot chocolate bar, and staff will be wearing comfy cozy clothes for the day. We have a door decorating contest, which has gotten crazy now because people keep adding things to their doors.
Is there a judge?
I don't know who I am in the contest, and I'm not going to win because Luana and Sue have decked our doors out with lights and flashing things, and I'm not sure. Every day there's another animal added to it, so I'm not sure. But it's been fun, and I appreciate that Casey and Summer have done this for all of us.
There's no liability on the drinks, right?
I don't think so. I wanted my.
There is somebody coming in here talking about I had some.
One of the Christmas Carol
I
doors.
wanted Scrooge and Marley counting house. That's all I wanted.
I tried to auction off my second door, but nobody took it.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Amy? Comments? Yeah, I mean, I think it's dope that, again, you have, the way that you have advocated in the past and continue to sort of like advocate, for the needs of the township, and that you have direct connections, and, it seems like your voice is being heard, and obviously you speaking for the township, that we have a voice that's being heard, and so that's pretty cool to see things happening, with the input that we have provided. All right, committee reports, anything that people wish to bring up? Seems like there's a lot of canceled meetings. All right, seeing none.
I was waiting. I just wanted to say a few words about the solar. No. Nothing? I was just,
Punxsutawney Phil? Yep,
I was just going to bring the board up.
that's later.
There's a report in there about this SPPA meeting.
Fine.
Yep.
Yeah. That is fine. I'm fine.
Okay. All right, any other business? All right, well,
You're going
we will,
to recess.
yep, we're gonna recess. I knew that part. For an exec session. And so all CNET, I think they're going to be leaving. And so the public, you're not going to see us anymore. And so I think we want to wish you a good end to the 2025 year. And thank you for tuning in. And we're happy to showcase a new composition next year for you. And really just hoping that, this season for those who celebrate the holidays, that we can come together and you can find community and connection and all that good stuff, something good to sort of like end out the year. And so, thanks, farewell. And Elliot, you want to say anything else before signing off? All right.
But part of our new composition is in the audience. So
Yep.
is that what you were?
Yes, yes.
All right. Take care. Bye, Patton.
Do you have to have a motion to adjourn? So moved.